I think it gets you to open up about things you've never told people. You know, your dark secrets, what you've kept to yourself, what you don't want nobody to know about. Maybe things that have happened to you or what you've done. You know, you feel so ashamed of yourself that you don't want anyone to know.
That you're useless.
That nobody would ever love me.
You're worthless.
I'm a pisshead.
You're going down between 7 and 12 years.
Hate you.
Called me disgusting.
Well, you can't have any surgery because the alcoholism's made your blood too thin.
Being a loser or worthless.
Not fit to be a mum.
I started using when I was about 13. I started with glue and I went through basically just about every drug I could get my hands on. It seemed to be the answer to my problems, and it ended up just to make my problems 100-fold worse.
I was in addiction for 30 years. My poison, as you want to call it, was wine. I didn't like the issue of control it had over me, alcohol, so I have been through recovery before, it's no secret.
That's 6 years in addiction. For me, the final crunch came. It's when I nearly died in my own flat. And I knew I had to turn my life around. I'd lost everything. I lost my partner through addiction, became homeless, lost my family, jobs, my home.
I first started enjoying alcohol from about the age of 13. I came into problems with my alcohol in my early 30s. It just took away everything. It robbed me physically and mentally.
My problem was alcohol and being constant for 28 odd years.
Basically for 40 years, getting on 40 years. Not just a little problem, it was, you know, getting arrested, really bad.
For all of my adult life, struggled with drugs and alcohol. Tried treatment before, never really worked, so found myself in a place, you know, just hopeless, despair.
Experienced a lot of things in using that I never thought I would do, and committed crimes, been on the street, but really it was just a very dark place.
Drank from the age of 13. Just got worse over time, but I couldn't see how bad it was. Got 3 kids. They now live with the dad. I just couldn't stop. I could stop, but I couldn't stay stopped where I'm from.
I was an addict for nearly 30 years, in and out of prison, heroin and crack cocaine. Basically, I just had enough. I couldn't get clean. This is the first time I've got myself clean and stayed clean. I didn't use the services because I was sick of waiting, going on a script. In the end, I finished off using Subutex, and then I did a rat on myself, and I've not touched drugs for over 6 months now.
I'm an alcoholic. I'm also a mum of 3. Because I've been so ill, Kira's become like my carer, and she gets lots of support from the carers, Blackpool Carers Centre and Connect, and she's also being seen by somebody from the Blackpool Crisis team.
I was still a mess even after stopping. So seeing people that have been through the D.E.A.P programme, I came and thought I'd get help for myself.
There was a couple of guys who work for RAMP, and they recommended coming to the D.E.A.P programme, and I can honestly say I never thought anything could work. I've been to private rehabs and tried a lot of stuff, and nothing really hit home like D.E.A.P does. It's about being willing, honest and open, innit?
For me, I came to D.E.A.P knowing that I needed extra help from, I do get support from other places, but I'd tried recovery for many years and not been able to maintain it. It kind of revealed to me how much I was still in denial, even though I was clean.
I think it's taught me to challenge those emotions and to see them for what they are, as opposed to what I think they are, because I create a lot of my problems in the way I think and the way I react to things. And it's taught me that I'm okay just to be me and not to put any sort of front onto people.
It was hard. It was bloody hard. And there's times when I want to walk, and I've not told anybody in, any of my peers or any of my other colleagues on D.E.A.P, that I actually experienced my own soul, which I can't explain because I've experienced it, and it amazed me.
It gives you a chance to become someone, not who you were. So it's not what you did, it's what you can do in the future.
Whatever was wrong with me, that's through addiction, that's the question I kept asking myself. What is it? What is wrong with me? Why can't I get this right? Why, right? And I guess with D.E.A.P, it kind of got to the why.
You sit in a group of people and the group mentor will go into real depth into situations and things that have happened in your life and the way that you behave because of them. There's a lot of realisation moments. You also get assignments to do, like your life story or bereavement letter that you read out in front of the rest of the group, and it just brings out all these emotions that you didn't think you had. Some of them I didn't realise I was having a problem with, but it was highlighted when I did my assignments.
You know, they get you to open up and you start trusting everyone in the group. It's a safe place to speak.
Learning to trust, especially other people, with my deepest, darkest thoughts, and sitting in it, sitting in the emotion and trying to place it within myself.
Yeah, I have done a lot of bad things, physically attacking people. I mean, not just a little fight, I mean really bad. Arson, I think that's quite common with a lot of alcoholics. I'm not sure, but I feel it is. I thought all them things I wouldn't be able to talk about, but I found them quite easy to talk about. I think it's because it's so close, you do actually get to know people and trust, not all of them, one or two. You actually do start trusting them, and I don't know, I just think it's amazing. I was sitting there saying to everyone, oh, stop talking crap. You're saying what people want to hear because you're on the course, you think you've got to say you're enjoying it or you've seen a light bulb moment or whatever. And it actually wasn't like that. You actually do get to that point.
Yeah, looking at the reality of what my parenting was, that's one of the parts of my denial that was really hard for. I had to be really challenged to accept that actually I was a complete failure as a mother. There wasn't any real part of it that was any good. There might have been instances, you know, that were okay, but as a parent, I just failed completely, and that was a hard pill to swallow, pardon the pun, but it was, yeah.
My life story. I always thought it was a bit of a selfish thing to do, but in a way it releases a lot of the damage that was done either by myself or by other people to me. I know I didn't deserve it and I didn't cope with it the way I wish I could have coped with it at the time.
Yeah, it was very, very deep. Very deep. A lot of stuff that I didn't think I would have to relive, but doing my life story, I had to walk through that pain and do it clean.
The most important piece of work was the determination assignment. When I did that, I did a lot of soul searching to find out my old thinking patterns and behaviours, which allowed my alcohol use to continue for so long And once I'd identified those, I could see how my own thinking and focus in life just channeled me into using alcohol to live, basically. And I think it just made a lot of little things just slot into place. And one of the things it made me accept was that this isn't going to go away. This is part of me.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done, having to look at myself. But it's the best thing I've done. It's the nicest thing that I could have done for myself and for my kids and my family.
Looking back on it, I don't blame my family. I come from a big family, 6 sisters and brothers. My mum and dad were alcohols, but that didn't make me an alcohol. I was deaf till I was 10 years old, and nobody picked up on it. I was completely deaf, not just a little bit. So by the time they did pick up on it when I was 10 years old, I'd missed so much schooling, stuff like that. Basic social graces, again, it comes down to. That they wanted to put me in a retarded school. So I did live a lot of time with my sister's brothers calling me the dummy, the thick one, the not smart one, you know. So that, I think that was a bad start, but that didn't make me an alcoholic, I don't think. It's just built up over the years. By the time I was 20, I'd say 20, 21, 22, I was already in addiction.
I'd say mine was a steady journey. Just got to a point where I didn't stop.
I was 13 when I picked up a first drug, and after that, I mean, I was in care and that, but after that I think it was just go with the flow. Curiosity with the heroin. Well, because in Preston when it first come about, it wasn't really heard of. My brother was already on it. But then when I seen people running around saying, I need a bag, and I thought, wow, it must be good. So then curiosity got the better of me, and that's how I started.
One of the main events that accelerated me drinking alcohol was definitely the death of both of my parents when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. Since that, I've had quite a few serious physical illnesses which have made me quite incapacitated, where I haven't been able to go to work, and instead of trying to get better, I've just self-destructed.
The way I see it, I prefer to just accept responsibility. I have a brother who's a year older than me. We lived in the same room, I mean, up until, you know, our late teens. He went off and put his head in the books, very successful lawyer. I went with drugs and alcohol.
Was myself. Yeah. Being a victim. Always playing the victim. I don't like to blame things on it.
No, it was nothing gradual, really. I was an addict within 10 years of first picking up. I was a victim of rape first, and then it went on from there, so... Yeah, I was abused. Sexually, physically, and mentally.
I seen an incident when I was a very young child of my father being stabbed by my mum because he was a very violent drunk himself. I think things have started from that point, and I've been through physical, mental and sexual abuse myself, so I think a big contributor of my addiction was to cope with the way I was feeling.
I think even if I'd had the most perfect background, I think because of how I am and the way I think and how I find emotions hard to deal with, I probably would have... I happened to be in the right place at the wrong time, if you know what I mean.
I think it was all important actually, but the life story was very important. But I got more out of it listening to other people's life story rather than my own, because I'm not used to people opening up. So that was nice. Not nice, that's a silly word, isn't it? It's more than nice. It was like really important for people to open up. And I think that's what makes the treatment work. Well, for me, that's what's made it work. I had a terrible fear of having to go into like detox and rehab and be around people. That really was scary for me. I couldn't have done that. So doing the D.E.A.P, it's just been fantastic, it really has.
Assignment 6 for me, because that's when I had a connection with myself. People in it, peers. Without them, I wouldn't have done it. Started with the other facilitators from pre-D.E.A.P that told me about it, but I wouldn't have stayed in it without the other people in there.
Well, my brother hung himself and I hated him for it. But it turned out that I hated myself. I'd blamed him when really I had a lot to do with it. By blaming him, it was like covering what I really felt. Because I've never been to his grave. I don't go to his grave. It's just something I'm going to have to do and get over. I felt, because we were both addicts, I felt like he took the easy option, you know, by hanging himself. And I hated him for it. Because we was always together, you know, doing drugs together. Wherever he was, I was. Wherever I was, he was. We were like inseparable. And then to get a phone call and say he's dead, it felt like my whole world had collapsed. But obviously he was in a bad place and that's why he's done it. But I never thought of that at the time, I just blamed him.
For a long, long time after my husband died, and I became an alcoholic off the back of him dying, I didn't deal with any emotions at all as regards his death. And my life story, I went into depth about how he died and what happened, and although he's been dead 12 years, it was like reliving the whole experience all over again because I was doing it properly because I didn't have alcohol in my system. So it was really honest and it was truthful and it was bringing up things that I had to think about that I hadn't thought about for a long, long time.
I didn't know how to live life without drugs and alcohol. Didn't know how. Just didn't know how. And bless him, Steve, yeah. He broke through all that. He broke through all that. There's a breaking down that has to occur.
Getting things, telling people things that I've never told anybody. Just felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Could trust people again.
On the day that I was leaving, we had a bit of a graduation party downstairs, and I had to read my leaving letter. And at the beginning of it, it was I just put that I was sat in the garden on the patio and the dog was at my feet and the cat was in the window and my daughter was on the phone to her boyfriend prattling away, and it was so normal, and it was just so normal, and it was just what normal people do. And if I'd have carried on drinking, I wouldn't be there at all. That whole scenario wouldn't occur. And I was there because I've been through D.E.A.P and I'm still alive today because of D.E.A.P.
I've stopped beating myself up about the past.
What I've stopped doing is putting other people first before myself.
I won't say I've stopped entirely, but I've stopped lying to myself and saying I'm okay and I can deal with this alone.
Since doing D.E.A.P, I've stopped blaming everybody else for my problems.
Stop looking at things in black and white. There's a coloured bit in the middle.
Well, stop drinking, obviously.
I've stopped living a chaotic life. I can't describe how much worry's been taken off my shoulders and stress from not having to drink a bottle of vodka every day and not have to pretend to be sober and not have to hide bottles around the house. It's just such a fantastic feeling to feel free in that way.
Family's a big thing with me. I've learned to forgive myself for neglecting, if that's the right word, neglecting, abusing, and I don't mean in a physical, but mentally, by not being there.
I stopped blaming other people and just being accountable for my actions. And that's what I enjoy about recovery today. You know, good or bad, when I'm accepting responsibility for it, I can live with that.
I continue to have thoughts of using. They just come into my head. I've stopped believing that means I want to use.
For me, I'm at college now, and I never ever thought I'd be going to college. It's hard, because I have to go to the basic English. I've also got to learn to use a computer and laptops, plus do the course. But for me, last week was the most fantastic day of my life. It was the first time I'd handed an assignment in, and to be told it was good, that was like, for me, that's one of the little moments. Oh, I feel like crying, just talking about an assignment, sorry.
But no, I've started accepting myself, my imperfections and all. And I've started just being more of a real person and genuine person.
What I've started doing is relaxing. And people say things, people do things, it's okay. That's their issue, it's not mine. I don't have to fix everybody anymore.
I started connecting with people, which I didn't do before.
I went to visit my parents a few months back after I completed D.E.A.P. I was walking along the beach with my mom. She looked up at me and she said, "I've got my son back."
My mum and dad are talking to me now, which they never did. They would never let me in. Now they welcome me. It's brilliant.
My life is better. I've got my mum back in my life after 9 years of disowning me, and I've got the close relationship back with my children and grandchildren.
Started taking responsibility for myself.
An addiction you're taking. I spent a lifetime of taking. Right now, I think the lesson I've learned is right. Now it's your turn to start giving back.
If only D.E.A.P had been around 20 years ago and I'd been ready for it, you know. I think it's one of the most difficult things I've ever done. But it's the most beneficial thing I've done for my recovery.
I'm still in, you know, I've still got a long, long way to go, but what they've laid out for me and the encouragement and constantly having people tell you that they care, they love you, you've got good qualities, it's pretty amazing.
I think to be honest with yourself, being honest and being honest with other people, and that's what it's taught me. Because honesty will get you a long way, whereas lying won't.
Talking about stuff with other people, keeping connected.
My recovery is my all. It comes before everything. That's family, career, everything. Because along with recovery comes everything else in place. So yeah, recovery is vital to me today.
To keep on going, it's never as bad as you think it is. And there will always be people there to help you.
Anybody is lucky enough to get on it, then I tell them to keep the bum in the seat for the whole 12 weeks. There's plenty of times I wanted to walk out. I got very angry and swore at the counsellors a couple of times, but that's only because I was afraid, and I'm not afraid anymore. I have peace in my head, and you can't put a price on that.
I'd like to say a big thank you to my mum and dad for standing by me, believing in me, looking after me two oldest when they was growing up. I'd like to thank my partner Brian for standing by me and believing in me.
My family for sticking by me after everything I've put them through.
Kia, Aaron, Scarlett and Jake, I'm very grateful to you for being able to have a relationship with you these days. You know how I was, and I just love you, and I'm so happy and grateful that you took me back into your lives, and I just want you to know that.
To my kids, I know they wanted to believe in me, but I've got to prove that myself. I want them to be proud of me, because I'm proud of them.
I would just like to say a personal thanks to Amber, my daughter. You've been so supportive all throughout my journey of recovery and relapse, and I couldn't do it without you.
Again, Sister Lorraine, just for not giving up.
I would just like to say to my mum, my sister, and my daughter, I'm so sorry for putting through what you went through. But today I'm proud of who I've become, and I hope they can be proud of me too.
Mom and Dad, thanks for not giving up on me. I love you. Catherine. Sorry. You're an absolute angel. Thank you for everything. Love you so much, and I always will. And Ellie Valley, Daddy loves you so much. Forever and ever.